bear a thought for me. These cruel young men at Cricbuzz have said you must pick a T20 team of the year. Now, how do you go about picking a T20 team of the year? There's matches everywhere. There's performances coming around every corner. How do you go about doing it? So I'll tell you what I've done. I've looked at T20 internationals, cast an eye, of course, on the T20 World Cup. The sample size there was a little small. Then I've looked at marquee tournaments like the IPL. I've looked at the SA20 and the PSL, cast an eye over the Big Bash, the 100, the CPL, seen if there's anything dramatic in the IL20. See, there's so many tournaments to look at. And so I must warn you that the team I pick is likely to be very, very different from the team that you pick, because eventually it comes down to an instinct. There's a player you've seen in difficult situations, maybe 10 situations. There's an innings you've seen, a spell you've seen, and that sticks in your mind, especially when you've got to select from among so many. So, you're warned. Let me tell you, first of all, the one big thing that happened in this year's T20 year, it was a big time batting year. It's always a batting year, but just look at some of the numbers from this year and they will blow your mind. First of all, more than 100 centuries were scored. There were 24 scores of 250 plus, and hold your breath, 17,694 sixes. Can you imagine, you hit a six, you're feeling good, and you come back to the pavilion and then you realize you were one out of 17,694. No big deal hitting sixes. That's why I keep saying push the boundaries back, push them back as much as you can. So I started and I discovered that the number of opening batters could form a team by themselves. It was an astonishing array of talent and performances. And you could pick from any of Abhishek Sharma, Ryan Rickelton, Faf du Plessis, Rohit Sharma, Sanju Samson, Jos Buttler, all had fantastic numbers. And yet I found two players not in this list to be my two openers. Up at the top, and he had an astonishing white ball season, is Travis Head. An Indian picking a team, Travis Head's got to be in it. In the IPL, 40.5 strike rate of 191, T20 International striking at 178.5. Overall, average 41, strike rate 182. In the power play, struck at 193. That's enough numbers. Travis Head is in your side. Plus, he's a left-hander that makes such a lot of difference. He demolished power plays, and very often he was getting to 50. He got there more often than anybody else, getting to a half century within the power play. It was just a great white ball season for Travis Head. Then another, we saw him play for KKR in the IPL, but he did well everywhere he played. And I'm talking about Phil Salt. Look at Salt's numbers now. In the IPL, 39.5 and strike rate of 182. T20 International striking at 164. In the power play, striking at 171.5. There was always a sense of excitement when both Travis Head and Phil Salt batted. And the way the T20 game is going, you have to demolish the power play and then build after that. So I thought these were the two best players in just giving you the head start in the power play. So my openers are Travis Head and Phil Salt. Now I've got to pick 3, 4, 5 because 6 and 7 have to be all-rounders. I've got to pick batters at 3, 4, 5. And here's something interesting. There's not a huge lot to choose from. My number 4 selected himself because I think there are very few better middle order players going than Nicholas Pooran now. The temptation is to put him at 3, but I just think he plays the middle overs so well that Nicholas Pooran is my number 4. Now the numbers for Pooran are very interesting too. Overall 42.8 and 158. If he bats till the death, he's unstoppable. He scores at 209. It's only in the T20 eyes that he struggled a little bit. And I'm willing to concede that, as I am for the next person that I'm going to pick, because sometimes you don't know what kind of wickets you are presented for T20 internationals. You're going from one city to the other. Suddenly you might get a 130, 140 kind of game. So you've got to keep that in mind, not just for Nicholas Pooran, but for a person I just absolutely love watching. And that's Heinrich Klaasen. He is my number 5, just edging out Tristan Stubbs. Now, a lot of you would have realized I talk about Stubbs a great deal because I think he's a very versatile player, but it's very difficult to look beyond Henrik Klaasen. You look at Klaasen now, in the IPL, average of 41.71. In the SA20, hold your breath, average of 40, strike rate of 208, strikes at 215 in the death. It's just, once again, like with Pooran, a little dip in T20 internationals, but you don't dispute with Henrik Klaasen. So you've got Pooran and Klaasen. Now that leaves number 3. Can you believe it? I did not find a bona fide number 3, someone who's batted number 3 throughout, because that's something that I've always been very particular about, that you must largely bat in the number that you play most of your innings at. But I found somebody who opened the batting. Yes, he got 3 international hundreds opening the batting, but batted in the IPL at number 3 and had a fantastic year. Overall 42.4162. In the IPL, he made 531 runs at an average of 48, striking at 153. So he can be opener, he can be number 3, and that's why Sanju Samson is in my team at number 3. I just love watching him. I mean, if you've got head salt Sanju Samson, you're guaranteed an audience straight away. It's a peculiar year though for Sanju Samson. Out 26 times, 18 of those were under 20. So you realize you've got a batter here who just goes boom as soon as he goes. Some days he'll come off, some days he will not, but when he comes off, he is brilliant. So there is my top 5. Head, Salt, Samson, Pooran, Klaasen. Now I'm looking at all-rounders. I want seam bowling all-rounders at 6 and 7. There's not a lot of spin bowling all-rounders at that number other than Akshar Patel. So I've looked at 2 seam bowling all-rounders out of the 3 that I had to choose from, in all fairness. I had to choose from Hardik Pandya, Marcus Stoinis and Andre Russell. I think at 7, Andre Russell is peerless because it doesn't matter what the target is. If he comes into bat, there's 10 balls left, he can change a game in that much. And he started to bowl more and more. He can be expensive, but you only need him to bowl 2 overs, really. 2, 3 maybe. Occasionally he'll come and bowl at the death for you. He might bowl the last over in the power play. He's a pretty versatile bowler. And he's scary. So he goes in at number 7. So basically I went head to head with Hardik Pandya and Marcus Stoinis. And this is what I saw with the numbers. Hardik Pandya overall 32.6, 159. Marcus Stoinis 29.6, 141. Now Marcus Stoinis did slightly better in the T20 internationals than Hardik Pandya. And as a bowler, I just thought Pandya is a little bit more versatile. He bowled for India in the power play. He bowled at the death, had a very good T20 World Cup. Can come in and bowl in the middle too. Gets going straight away. Stoinis is a player everybody would want. So it's really, okay, what's in this hand, what's in the other? And eventually I went with Hardik Pandya because of, I've seen him a little bit more. I saw him in many situations. So Pandya is my 6. Russell is my 7. Look what I've got now. I've got 4 wicket keepers in there. Whoever picks up the gloves early just goes out and stands behind the stumps. And I've already got about 6, even 7 overs already. So I can now start looking at bowlers a little differently. And what I've done with my 2 spinners is to look at wicket takers. And much like with openers, there's so many fantastic spinners going around. Akshar Patel, one of the lone finger spinners who's holding his own in the army of wrist spinners. Then there's Mahesh Deekshana, there's Vanindo Hasaranga, there's Adam Zampa. There's so many players. How do you choose from among those? And the numbers are not too different really. So I've really gone by preference here, and I've gone Rashid Khan and Varun Chakravarti. And let me look at the numbers then for those 2. Rashid Khan also, because at number 8 he'll come and score runs. 66 wickets. He's just a wicket-taking machine. Takes a wicket every 13.6 balls, and economy is well under 7. The other bowler you could have thought of there was actually Noor Ahmed, and he's taken a lot of wickets this year too. So it's a really difficult choice. You'll have to bear with me with my selection of Rashid, and I just thought it was a breakout year for Varun Chakravarti. Bowled brilliantly for them in the toughest league in the world, in the IPL for KKR. Forced a comeback playing to be picked for India and took a truckload of wickets for India. Overall, Varun Chakravarti, 29 matches, 47 wickets. Economy is under 8. Right, so I've got Rashid and Varun Chakravarti as my wicket takers. Now I'm looking at fast bowlers. I want somebody who can bowl up at the top as well, apart from maybe a little bit at the death, but I want someone at the top. I've got Arshdeep Singh, who bowls in the power play, takes a lot of wickets in the power play, comes back and bowls reasonably well in the death, and will accompany Jasprit Bumrah, who can bowl just about anywhere. I've given away already the name, isn't it? My last player is Jasprit Bumrah, who had an absolutely insane year. In fact, I had to look at the numbers to actually believe they're true, because I knew he had a great year. In the IPL, for a team that had everything going wrong with it, he took 20 wickets at an economy rate of 6.48 in a year in which all batting records were obliterated. Bumrah was going at under 6.5 in over, and in T20 internationals, just 8 matches, 15 wickets at an economy rate of 4.17. Those are insane numbers. I thought Lockie Ferguson had a good year. I really like the look of Matisha Patirana, but he's really largely Bumrah. He'll come back and bowl at the end, and the evergreen Trent Bolt did well too. But I just thought that there was greater versatility with Arshdeep Singh. He took a lot of wickets, and so he's my last fast bowler in that list. Now, you can look back at that list and say, how come so many India players? Well, 2 reasons. Yes, I saw them more closely, I know them well, but also India was by some distance the standout team this year. Won the T20 World Cup, had a 90% plus win rate in T20 internationals, and you can see, I've already put together a team without the one batter who I think makes it to most teams every year, and that's Surya Kumar Yadav, who had a slightly middling year by his own standards. That's one of the problems of being Surya Kumar Yadav. So there's my team. I hope you like it.